So, good evening, and it's really nice to be part of this platform. And I do hope that this knowledge sharing for today's session is really a knowledge sharing, and I hope you'll take away something from this. In the jewelry industry landscape, what we're going to be talking about today is the kinds of jewelry that are there within the jewelry categories. And because jewelry is a very unique and personal expression, we wanted to look at all types of jewelry that was available in the market and maybe help clarify some terms. So we'll go directly to the presentation now. So types of jewelry, and as you can see, the first presentation or the first slide, here we've categorized the jewelry into four categories. And the first is ornament based, which mainly includes earrings, pendants, bracelets, rings, etc. Everybody is aware of this category. So this is not what we're looking at today. The next is genre based. Genre based is more time period based jewelry. So it's defined according to the period it was in and historically. So there is Art Deco, Art Nouveau, antique, and much more. The third category is material and physical attribute based, and this is the jewelry is defined by the materials that it is made, and also the certain characteristics or certain features which define this type of jewelry. So you have costume, fashion, fine, kundan, polki, and many more. And manufacturing techniques, that's the fourth category. And manufacturing technique is more like handcrafted jewelry, sand casting jewelry, investment casting. So that's the technique with which it is made. What we're going to be looking at is more the material and the physical attribute jewelry. So here is a list of few of the categories in material and physical attribute based jewelry. And if you see the first two categories, that is the costume and the fashion jewelry, they belong more to the non-precious category of jewelry, and the rest of them are more somehow somewhere there is precious metal or precious stones. Some part of it is involved in the rest of the categories. So let's go to costume jewelry and the first category. So costume jewelry was popularized by Hollywood and women of affluent families because what they did is they made replicas of heirlooms or precious jewels, really big jewels, and they wore them for occasions and they wore them for stage shows and performances. They did this because they were worried that the piece would get lost, or it would get damaged, or it would be stolen, and so they started making these replicas. And slowly the stage performances also, they were making this sort of jewelry. But now in current times, costume jewelry really means an alternative to precious jewelry. So precious jewelry is jewelry made up of precious materials like maybe gold, diamonds, and costume jewelry is an alternative. So it is made up of materials which are not so precious. It could be brass, it could be zinc, it could be imitation stones, Swarovski, maybe semi-precious stones as well. These styles are affordable styles. They are generally timeless styles which you can wear over a long period of time. And the styles are not really defined by the latest trends or the newest trends. The image here you can see is of Liz Taylor from Cleopatra, and she's wearing a necklace which is brass with gold plated for the movie, and all of her jewelry was costume jewelry, but it looked like real jewelry, and that's why costume jewelry. um, so the first necklace on the left, if you can see that, this is a necklace by Coco Chanel, which is a very popular brand in this category. And at the same time, Coco Chanel popularized this jewelry in the 1900s. Now, they started calling it the outfit jewelry. The reason they called it outfit jewelry is because it was to complement your outfit, or it was jewelry that could be that would be used to complement your outfit. So you could have maybe um a jewelry piece for every outfit, and because it was costume and not made of precious material, you could afford it. The earrings on the top uh, are by Christine Dior, again another brand within this category. They use brass, which is plated, and they use CZ stones. CZ stones are cubic zirconia stones. They are stones which look like diamonds, but they are basically artificial. They mimic a diamond in many ways, but they are lab grown in that sense, and they're not so expensive. I mean, they're really extremely reasonably priced. So that is Christian Dior, and then the lower two pieces that you can see, one is a cuff by Amrapali. Amrapali is again a popular brand in this category. And both these pieces are trying to show the costume version of Indian jewelry. So they've used, again, both of them are gold plated brass, and the color stone in the cuff is a plastic stone, and then there are pearls. So this jewelry can also be called as dress jewelry, travel jewelry, because you can travel with this jewelry. Imitation, because you're using imitation material, so imitation jewelry. And sometimes it's also called as fashion jewelry, or it's confused with fashion jewelry. But fashion jewelry, which is the next slide, actually evolved from costume jewelry. And fashion jewelry is different in terms of many a times the material, but more so when you see a jewelry piece, the way it looks, you can tell that it's fashion jewelry. And because it's generally very trendy, and mainly the pieces are statement pieces, and these styles are constantly changing with the current trends. So material basically that can be used as any material that you can think of, which can last for some time in terms of wearability. So a lot of designers in this category experiment with thread, with wood, with plastic, glass, shells, and many more materials. If you see the necklace on the right, the big bold necklace, that's by an Indian brand called NND. And NND is NND is a brand really gaining popularity, which uses organic thread and stainless steel to create their jewelry. The jewelry is very bold, very vibrant, really big pieces, and if you're lucky, they end just above the waist. So uh, again, here on the slide, you can see on the left there is a green leather bracelet capped with brass caps. The earring, the orange earring, is made up of wool, and again, big earrings, statement earrings. The next jewelry piece is a ear cuff, and also it goes into a headgear. Again, this is an eye-catching piece by Outhouse. The last one is by Quirksmith. So Outhouse and Quirksmith both are Indian brands, and again, uh, in this segment, they do have a name. And Quirksmith, this ear cuff says "Mere paas maa hai," and they have a lot of other jewelry which have these statements. This jewelry can be also termed as couture jewelry, and sometimes again it's confused with costume jewelry. So these are the two categories: fashion and costume jewelry. The next slide sometime. And what Shrishti has done is she has 3D printed parts in nylon, so HP nylon, and then she's kind of strung them together using metal wires. She's also used metal chains or metal pieces to highlight the gray of the HP piece. And a combination of the metal and HP makes HP stand out as well. And so this is truly where tech meets craft, and she terms it as that as well, her jewelry. The earring on the right is a textured earring in brass, and again by a well-known brand called Misho. Many of you must have heard of this brand. Misho actually is an Indian designer, Sohani Parekh, and she's based in UK, and she's selling a lot of her jewelry, really big statement pieces. So this is again Misho. It's important to understand at this stage that every category that we may be looking at today will have an entire spectrum of brands and designers, which will cater to a kind of a mass market as well as the luxury market. So within each category, you'll have a very commercial jewelry as well as a high-end jewelry as well. So within costume, you'll find certain brands and designers selling at very low price points, some at very high price points, and the difference usually is in the design and the making of the jewelry.